Hello, BookTube. Who's up for a gigantic book haul? I almost said Gigantopithecus book haul because I'm beta reading a book by a friend of mine that he's hoping to get picked up by a mainstream press on Sasquatch in the Pacific Northwest. He knows of my abiding interest. He knows that I know the material, so we've been exchanging notes all day. so I had that in mind when I did this. There's quite a few packages here, so let's go see what's in them. And if there's a Bigfoot book in this pile, I will plot. All right, so what's this first one? Wouldn't that be something? Oh my. Okay. All right. This is due in late November. This is a kind of book that we're seeing more and more of. This is called Dangerous Years by David Orr, and the subtitle is Climate Change, the Long Emergency, and the Way Forward. We're seeing. I'm seeing here on this channel. We're seeing more and more of these end of the world books. These climate change, Anthropocene books, and what to do about it. I find them fascinating. In a grim way, but still fascinating. And what have we got here? This one's nice and heavy. Steve likes heavy books. Okay. All right. This has to be a bit of a mistake. This is Joe Jackson's, the finished copy of Joe Jackson's biography of Black Elk. Subtitled The Life of an American Visionary. And this is it's from For Our Strauss and Giroux. It's a beautiful hardcover full of it's really, really good. Jackson has studied Black Elk in a way that no one else has. This is the final word on the subject. And the only reason and so it's a first-rate biography, and the only reason I'm chuckling is because I've already reviewed it. I'll leave the link down below, but to put it mildly, I don't think I'll be getting a blurb out of the review unless a publicist, scans it carefully. If they do, they'll see that I loved it, but I don't love its subject. Let's put it that way. And then there's this thing here. This has an email address in the return address, so I don't think it's from a mainstream publisher. But it could still be good. Okay, it's a slim volume of poetry. And it does contain a little note. I appreciate any consideration you might give. Okay, so this is a collection of poems. It's called Why Is It So Hard to Kill You? Question I've asked Deb many times. There's a goldfish on the cover, and it's just a collection of poetry. Okay, no pub date or anything, but it's a nicely done thing. So that's good. That's all you need to get my attention. All right, let's see here. What's this next one? This is also pleasingly big, so I don't think it'll be on a slim volume of poetry. We're doing okay so far. I mean, I'm no big fan of contemporary poetry, but a finished copy of the Black Elk book, absolutely, and anything about climate change. So what is this? This is Reiner Stock's Kafka, The Early Years. Oh my. Okay, this comes out in late November. This is the final, believe it or not, even though it's the early years, there's the young, nervous, super hottie Kafka. Even though this is the early years, this is the final volume in Reiner Stock's trilogy about Kafka. He waited until the end to do the early years so that he could have access to, well, it's a long story. the Kafka biographical trove is a whole story on its own. I'm really hoping, if he's not sick of the subject, I'm really hoping that he tells that story, because it's like something out of a bad novel. But he did the later two volumes chronologically first, while he was waiting for key material to come available. So this will be Kafka as a very young man. Fantastic. Just fantastic. I have intentionally withheld reading this in Galley, so that I can read it just in in the copy that'll go on the shelf with my other two. An absolutely epic, like the Black Elf, only a much greater length. An absolutely definitive life of Kafka. It's just fantastic. Okay, serious biography. We've got 2 so far out of 4 packages, so let's hope it's a trend. They never work. Oh. All right. We'll force our way open like a Gigantopithecus. What is this? Oh, okay. This is the finished copy of The Phoenix, an unnatural biography of a mythical beast, by Joseph Nigg. I think I've made it clear on this channel. I don't particularly. Okay, this is due in November. I'm not particularly wild about conceptual stuff like this. Biography of the color orange, biography of a mythological creature. But depending, I haven't read, so I didn't read the Galley. But depending on how deeply he digs into mythology, this could be quite good. I noticed from the finished copy that the author is as old as dirt, which means that I won't be disappointed in the extent of his research. He's from an era that did that right, and his bibliography is huge. So it could be. It could very well be. It's the sort of thing that usually makes me sigh a little when I see it, but I have known it to be done well. So I'll definitely give it a try. Then we've got this thing, also big. What is this? Oh, okay. This is due in early November. This is by Jonathan Fenby. It's France. It's a gigantic biography of France. It's a history from the Revolution to the War on Terror. Okay. And Jonathan Fenby is a former editor of the UK Observer and the South China Morning Post. He's the author of several books, including the acclaimed The General, Charles de Gaulle and the France He Saved. In 2013, he was awarded the Chevalier of the Legion of Honor by the French government for his contribution toward understanding between Britain and France. There's a thing to put on your tombstone. Good Lord, I never got the Legion of Honor. Wow, wonderful. Okay. Okay, I have not read that. This is we're doing well here. We're doing well. Believe it or not, though, we have a lot more to go. This was a gigantic thing. What is this? Oh, fantastic! Oh, I have a recipient for this. This is due on November 1st. It's called Showstoppers. It's a history of Broadway's most remarkable songs. The technical term being the thing, the number in the song that brings the house down. It's in its original understanding, it was not what it later came to be regularized as, which is the big number that stops the show right before the intermission, the big halfway number that all traditional Broadway musicals had for a long time. It became that, but it started out as the thing that just gets everybody up out of their seats. But one way or another, regardless of the terminology, this is one of those things that I will first read before I send out, because I have, to put it mildly, a soft spot for Broadway musicals. I'm doing all I can right now, and I'll have to break into a showstopper. Let's see here. I think probably the prototypical example of a showstopper isn't a Broadway musical at all. It's Handel's Messiah, the Alleluia chorus of which caused the king to erupt to his feet, which it caused everyone else in the audience to go, "What the hell?" and erupt to their feet as well. And now, in certain well-trained, well-behaved, knowledgeable audiences, it is now customary to get to your feet during that. It's sort of become institutionalized. But anyway, this next one is BP Blowout by Daniel Jacobs. Inside the Gulf oil disaster. I read a technical account of the Gulf oil disaster just a little while ago and was greatly impressed. This looks more like a narrative account. So that's great. I'll have them both now. Uh, and this, okay, this comes out in late October. Better late than never, which I suppose accurately sums up the BP oil disaster as well. But it'll be nice to dig into this thing now, knowing all about it. I've read the definitive technical analysis, so I know all about it, and I've also seen the movie, so I know just what to expect from Dylan O'Brien's character. And let's see here, what do we got next? Oh, these are skinny. Oh, goodness gracious. It's 2 more slim volumes of poetry. Oh, all right. So biography is no longer in the front runner. It's tied for the lead with slim volumes of poetry, 2 from Princeton. That's a little anticlimactic. But I know the literary journal for which I am the managing editor, Open Letters Monthly, has a crackerjack poetry editor. So I'll just send them to her. She'll know what to do with them. And we move on to this thing. What is this thing? Oh, very nice. Okay, this is the finished copy of Tullis Onstadt. I think we've seen this on the channel before. I think I showed it to you on in Galley. It's due in mid-November. It's Deep Life. And the subtitle is The Hunt for Hidden Biology on Earth, Mars, and Beyond. But of course, the hunt for hidden biology on Mars and beyond is taking place in an area the size of your living room. It's really the hunt for hidden biology here on Earth for extremophile life, much of which has been found. The more we look for it, the more we find right here on Earth. Life that exists, and as far as we know, has evolved 4 miles down below the sun, where there's never any light at all, on the vents of magma cracks, where the water is boiling, and there's life there. And it grows and evolves and hunts around for food and reproduces. And deep at the bottom of the deepest measured trenches of the ocean, there's life. There are gigantic worm-like creatures. The probes that we have can't even examine them because the pressure crushes the probes, which are made of tempered steel. But there are living things down there. They've never seen the sun. They are total strangers to anything connected with photosynthesis, which for 1,000 years was considered the absolute basis for life. The basic bare minimum is that you had to have the sun. Turns out that's not true. Microbes, oxygen trapped in water, heat, all sorts of things that you can have and still evolve into a fairly complex life form. Anything that's as long as your arm is fairly complex. So Deep Life examines what we can expect. Earth actually provides extremely harsh alien environments that give us a good idea of what life might do in extremely harsh alien environments off Earth. Very good, though. Glad to have a finished copy of that. And then we actually did get to the end. This is a box. Now, I know what I want to be in here, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I think Deep Life is probably the closest we're going to get to a book on Bigfoot. Because in a way, it's about life forms that we don't know anything about that have existed for a long time, which is my friend's book is saying there are colonies of Gigantopithecines, and they're not the Gigantopithecus of the fossil record. They're smaller, but they're still bigger than humans, and they're smarter than apes. So the reason that there's such a questionable physical trail is because they're intentionally not leaving one. They're intentionally hiding from humans. There are parts of his book that I'm very happy with, and I will make it so that that's the whole book. And what is this? Oh, what a way to end! This is the annotated version of Mansfield Park in a lovely finished edition. Oh my God. Okay, I think this is my second copy of this. Oh man. And look. You can see that. There's a picture of Deb. Oh man. Okay, fantastic. That's wonderful. Okay, this comes out next week. and I have I have all these books that you just saw, and all the ones that you've seen this week, and all the ones that are still coming. And how many times have I read Mansfield Park? How do I know it? How well do I know it? Every character, every line, every plot twist. How well do I know the history and the composition? How well do I know the historical background, the colonies, and the various kinds of stagecoaches, and the buying power of the currency at the time, and men's fashion and hunting, and yet, what am I going to read first? Oh my! Oh, lovely. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There's a Gigantopithecus Mail-Haul for you. Thank you, BookTube.